Hello everybody, my name is Sophie and welcome back to Bookmas! It's another day, another sleigh. You get what I'm saying? Because it's Christmas, it's Bookmas. Actually, I have this little flower that my mom gave me. I feel like I should put it in the back. Where can you guys see it best? Happy Bookmas to everyone. Happy Christmas. And today I'm filming this on the 6th of December. And it's coming out on the 6th of December. So we've caught up with pre-prepared videos. It's stressing me out, kind of, because I don't have anything backed up that I can upload. But I'm planning on pre-filming some things. So if you see me sitting here again in a different video, pretend like it wasn't filmed in the same day. Since it's the 6th of December, also happy Nikolaus to all of my Germans. I explained it in the Nikolaus vlog that I'm doing, what that is. So keep an eye out for that tomorrow probably. But of course you're saying, Sophie, why are we here today? What are we doing today? Big Bookmas Day 6, are we doing something special? No! Well, it's kind of special. It's something I've never done before and something I've never concerned myself with. It's the Goodreads Choice Awards. I've always called out Goodreads because I just am not on the app that much. I'm not on the app that much, and I also don't really trust Goodreads for recommendations. It goes hand in hand with booktok in my opinion. And there are Goodreads Choice Awards being held every year. And I always saw that, but I've never voted in them. And then the other day, I don't know what I was looking for, but I stumbled upon the Goodreads nominees. And the only ones I looked at, I think, were called fantasy or new adult fantasy, and I was taken aback because I saw that the 8th book in the series was nominated, and we'll talk about what series that was. So I'm going to explain to you what the Goodreads Choice Awards are from the Wikipedia page. I'm just going to read that out to you because I don't really get it. And then we're going to look at the Goodreads nominees for this year. I also don't know when voting is up. I couldn't figure it out. I don't want to sound stupid. I'm just gonna Google it again. Okay, so last year the winners were announced on December 8th. So we can check back in and see which ones won in a separate video. I'm just gonna make all of the videos about Goodreads Choice Awards, the rest of the Bookmas videos. But for now, let's see what the Goodreads Choice Awards are, and then talk about the nominees for the categories that concern me, which are just fantasy and new adult, young adult, romance maybe. Not like the smart books, like fiction. Ugh. Very fiction I have to put on my brain and I'm not into that. So on Wikipedia it says, the Goodreads Choice Awards is a yearly award program first launched on Goodreads. What? I wouldn't have guessed. In 2009. That's long. 2009 doesn't seem that far away, but that's like a long ass time ago. Winners are determined by users voting on books that Goodreads has nominated or books of their choosing released in the given year. Most books that Goodreads nominates are from verified Goodreads authors. The final voting round collects the top 10 books from 20 different categories. That's a lot of categories. I didn't think there was that many. And then I was of course curious, what does that mean? When does it have to be published? And so for this year's awards, books published between November 16th, 2022 and November 14th, 2023, including works in translation and other significant re-releases in the United States and in English, are eligible for the 2023 Goodreads Choice Awards. So if there was a new edition released from Throne of Glass, would that mean it gets nominated again? Even though it's been out for years? I don't know if I fuck with the re-releases, if I'm being honest. I feel like it should just be books that were published literally in that time span, new. And my opinion is also, before we look at the nominees, you shouldn't nominate books in a series. For example, of course, Fourth Wing is nominated, and I'm not sure if Iron Flame is nominated because that was also published in the same time span. Imagine, 2 books in the same series were published in that time span, in the same year. You guys have heard me say it so many times. I'm gonna get mad about it every single time. I think they should maybe make a separate category for books that were released in a series, like sequels or 8th books in a series. I think it's a little bit unfair because that way only really popular authors get on a list. We'll see, right? This is my prediction also right now because I haven't looked at it really yet. But also because so little people have read a series up until the point where it's the 8th book. And so maybe there should be a separate voting for books that are the sequel or the 8th book in a series. I don't know if my thoughts are making sense. I don't really know how to articulate them. I don't know where to find them in the app, so that's gonna... Oh, the Goodreads staff shares their top... No, that's not it. Who decides on what books get nominated? It's Goodreads and it's some, like, the amounts of ratings and... I didn't really get that part. Your voice has been heard. We're tallying your votes and will reveal the winners of the 15th annual Goodreads Choice Awards on Thursday, December 7th, so tomorrow already. I don't like that they're saying 15th annual Goodreads Choice Awards. Sounds like the Hunger Games. Can I not see the nominees now because the voting phase is over? That would make this whole video a flop. This is so ass, guys. I can't see the list anymore. Okay, this is a flop. I'm gonna have to trust Book Outlet. I don't know what Book Outlet is. I think this is like an American website where you can get books from an outlet. But they have like a list of 48 books and it's titled 2023 Goodreads Choice Awards nominees. So let's just go through them and I'll just talk about the ones that I find interesting. But now I don't know which ones they're up against. So that's kind of sad. Why did they remove the list? Even if I can't vote anymore, I still want to see. Okay, so the first one in this list is actually a book by an author I'm currently reading, guys. It's Ellie Hazelwood's Love Theoretically. I actually don't know what that is about, but I can guess since it's an Ellie Hazelwood book that it's about a main character who is in STEM and then the main character she's in love with is also in STEM and there's a sexist man. And then they fall in love. I'm actually currently reading Check and Mate by Ellie Hazelwood. I'm 65% done already. And it's... You'll see in the vlog that I'm posting tomorrow because I talk about it more then. If I'm being honest, I think I'm even gonna finish it today. And I'll post a review for it still this month. But... You can tell I don't have anything to say. There's no words coming out of my mouth. So I just assume this is in the romance section. I don't know if there's like young adult romance or new adult romance, if they're differentiating, because the book that I'm reading right now is young adult and her other books are all new adult. It's like painfully young adult. And I don't know if I've ever read a young adult romance book or if all the romance books I've read in my life were new adult, but I never realized how fucking cringe they were. So I hope she loses. I do not fuck with Ellie Hazelwood's writing at all, even in Love... No. What did I read? Love Hypotheses? I don't even remember what I said about that, but I posted a review. Her writing is so simplistic and she has said, maybe it's changed now, but she has said that her editor gives her ideas for books and then she just writes the ideas that her editor gives her. She doesn't come up with them necessarily herself. But she's releasing 2 new books next year and we'll talk about that more in my 2024 new releases video that I'm also doing. I'm just telling you all the tea now. Every video that's still coming out for Bookmas and it's not even a surprise anymore. We have A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. I don't know if that's a sequel to something. I just know this book because of the cover. I've seen it in a bookstore and I thought it was really pretty. And I also don't see anyone talk about it. Like, I've seen it, but mostly people just say, oh, it's so pretty about it. They don't say anything about the substance. Have you guys read that? Should I read that? So I can't say anything about that. I just want to make it known that I'm aware of its existence. Oh my god. These Infinite Threats by Tahara Mafi. Fuck that book. Listen, guys, I read the first one. This is a sequel. I was gonna say, this is nämlich eine sequel. We're gonna mix it up with the German today. I say that like I don't do it in every video. This is the sequel to This Woven Kingdom. I think I have it. Oh no, I got rid of it. And I was feeling funny during the summer because I don't know exactly when this released, but during the summer or the fall I was feeling funny and I found it on Spotify. And the whole book is on Spotify. You can listen to it for free, at least in Germany. You know, I don't know if there's regional differences. And I started listening to it and then I stopped after I listened to like the first 20 minutes because I was like, this is just like the worst. Tahara Mafi with Peace and with Love. I say this. I loved Shatter Me when I read that when I was 14. I didn't like the first Shatter Me book, by the way. I was a hater and then I continued reading and I was like, okay, this is good. But her writing style is just so anstrengend. Exhausting. It's not smart, it's not witty. And also the story that she made up with This Woven Kingdom was not good. I remember there were like a bunch of plot holes. As I said, I made a review about it. I'm like truly trying to remember. I don't even know the main character's name. But the fact that These Infinite Threats is nominated baffles me a little. Because I also don't think that many people gave a fuck about that book. About This Woven Kingdom and These Infinite Threats. I didn't see anyone talk about it. The Stolen Heir is also nominated. Well, funnily enough, I read that this year. The sequel to that is also coming out next year. And I just have to say about that, I think Holly Black should leave The Cruel Prince, The Fog of the Air in the past. I also don't remember what The Stolen Heir was about. I think I read it in the spring though, so that was a long time ago. Genuinely don't remember a single plot point of that book. So when the ranking video comes out at the end of the month, it's gonna be really fun when I have to tell you guys about the books I read this year, because I will just be like, I don't know. Also, there was so much backlash about The Stolen Heir. It makes me really wonder how they determine the choices. Just because many people put it as want to read maybe, or read, but they rated it poorly. So I don't know, because I feel like there was so much backlash. I'm gonna check what the Goodreads rating is on The Stolen Heir. I just feel like people didn't really like it. I gave it 1 star in case you're curious. Oh, it has a 4.02. That's not good. And that being said, The Cruel Prince has also a 4.06. Cruel Prince is not rated much better, but it does have 1 million ratings. And The Stolen Heir only has 70,000. Whatever, I don't get the Goodreads awards. Okay, with Peace and Love, I feel like this list, I don't know if I believe it. Fourth Wing isn't even on this list, and Fourth Wing is definitely a nominee, so let's just talk about that. I don't think Iron Flame is a nominee. I think if it was, it would, but it also doesn't say with The Stolen Heir that this is a nominee. Now I'm confused. Guys, I was really trying to do something here, and it's not working. Because when I go into The Stolen Heir, it doesn't say that it's a nominee. So is what is it called? Book Outlet lying to me? Because with, Fourth Wing doesn't say it either. Well, now I'm even more confused. Well, Fourth Wing is nominated. It's also going to win. It's the same as when a Sarah J Maas book is nominated. It's also bound to win. So it's going to be interesting to see with the Sarah J Maas book coming out at the end of January, and then also the third Fourth Wing book coming out next year, which one is going to win. But I think Sarah J Maas is always going to win, like, inevitably. Also, I don't know if Colleen Hoover, like, when's the last time she published a book, but I think it's also an unspoken rule that if she publishes a romance book, what else would she publish, it's going to win the category, which is why I think it's kind of pointless. Goodreads Choice Awards. At the end of the day, it is a choice award. People choose. But especially if you nominate books in a series like Crescent City 3 and then have it running up against a debut author that published a fantasy book that year, like Powerless, for example, this is what comes to mind, that bitch doesn't have any chance. You know what I mean? So what do we think about that? Do we care? I don't know if I care. Another thing that I think is on the list is Happy Place by Emily Henry. That was released this year. The only book that I have from her is Book Lovers. When I put it up for my members, they never vote for it. Maybe on Reddit. In brief, the dominant factor is how many people have shelved the books on Goodreads, including as to read. This is all not good. Maybe we should make up our own awards. You know what? Since I can't find the list, let me just say, I also saw The Zodiac Academy, the 8th book on the list when I was scrolling through it, and I'm so happy. And that's the whole reason I wanted to make this video. How the fuck do you nominate the 8th book in the Zodiac Academy for a fucking Goodreads Choice Award? I'm sorry. It's not gonna win. It's ass. I fucking hate the Zodiac Academy. I'm truly debating though making a video, because I only read the first book, making a video where I read all of the books, because I think at this point it's a 9-book series, and so when it's definitely finished, I would consider reading all of them. As if I don't have anything better to do. For you guys, I would do it. But what is your opinion on this? Do you think I'm exaggerating or being overdramatic? But I just don't understand why you would nominate the 8th book in the series for a Goodreads Choice Award. I'm sorry. Yellowface by R.F. Kuang is also, I think, a nominee. And I have The Poppy War and Babel. Both of those books are on my shelf. And I've showed them in my redecorating video. Go watch that. I think next year is the year that I finally read an R.F. Kuang book, but I think it's gonna be The Poppy War. Oh, this year also new, I know we're just kind of all over the place with this, but the new category was Romantasy. There was not a Romantasy. Yes! I found it! I found it! 25 minutes into filming, I found the list. Okay, this year it was 15 categories. Romantasy was added. They dropped children's and middle grade, which I think you can't even... You have to be like 14 to have an account on Goodreads, so that makes sense. Poetry they also dropped, which I think is a little weird, and graphic novels. That's like valid to keep on, but whatever. So best fantasy, we've talked about none of them. We have V.E. Schwab's The Fragile Threads of Power, which I heard no one talk about, by the way. Did you guys read that? I've read no V.E. Schwab book. No, I have. Actually, that's a lie. I read the Song one when I was 14, and I gave it like 5 stars. Like I did with everything when I was 14. I don't remember anything that happened in that series. It was like I don't even know if I read the second book. But other than that, I've never managed to finish. No, that's also not. I also read The Invisible. Am I stupid? I read The Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue, but I didn't finish like her popular or her like classic V.E. Schwab books. Oh, I fucking put them in the shelf. Wait. Vicious and Darker Shade of Magic. And she has Gallant and also this book, and I hear nobody talk about them. People in general don't really talk about V.E. Schwab, which I don't really get because she has so many books, and the people that read them, they go really hard for them. But if there's like another book that I should read by V.S. Schwab, what do you think it should be? Like this new one? I don't know if it's good. Then Cassandra Clare's book, of course, is nominated, the new one. I think that might even win. And then Hellbent by Lee Verdugo, which is the sequel to Ninth House. I also have that book on my shelf. And I read Ninth House as the first book of this year. And I don't know when I'll read that. I was like excited to read Hellbent, and then I got it and I didn't want to read it anymore. We have Best Romantasy, which is the new category. We have, as I said, the Zodiac Academy, the 8th book. We have The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, which is the second book from The Serpent and the Wings of Night, which I read this year, which is on Kindle Unlimited. You guys know what I think about that. I also talked about it in my 1-star Goodreads reviews video. Oh my god, that's another Goodreads video 2 days in a row. But that book was really bad. And then there's Fourth Wing. Don't want to talk about it. Fuck that book. Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. And I think she wrote Kingdom of the Wicked, which I read this year. And didn't that book come out like super recently? And now my camera's dying. Guys, we need to talk about some other books on this list though, because now that I found it, I want to talk about it. And I want to hear your guys' opinion on this. So let me go into my Japanese class and then after we'll catch up. Okay guys, let's finish this. Let's see what other nominees we have on the list. So we talked about Best Fantasy and then Best Romantasy. That's where we stopped. We have the Throne of the Fallen. I think I've talked about that. Kingdom of the Wicked. I've seen it in the store actually. I think it's in the same universe as Kingdom of the Wicked because it's about like... Wasn't it about some demons? So I'm sure her fans are super excited for this. I've seen a bunch of people read it already. I also think it's kind of interesting that books that have been published in, or I don't know if this came out in November, but so close to the end of the year or the nomination phase are still included. So that makes me wonder even more how they decide on what books are nominated. We have 2 Jennifer L. Armentrout books, A Soul of Ash and Blood, which is a Blood and Ash novel, and then A Fire in the Flesh, which is a Flesh and Fire novel. I don't know the difference between the two. I've talked about Jennifer L. Armentrout in a podcast episode before where I was detailing that I think all of her covers look the same, and I don't just think that that's the truth. And also some suspicious behavior in her past. Allegedly. I don't know if anyone still writes hard for Jennifer L. Armentrout or if a lot of her fans are also kind of over it, because I heard that she keeps extending her series and that her fans are also kind of like just ended at this point. Not her life, but the series, you know? So I have nothing to say about that. I only ever read the first Blood and Ash novel, and I tried reading the second one on multiple occasions, and I could never finish it because it was so boring. And I don't know if I ever will. Like, I don't even want to say, do you guys want me to read this and make a full series review? Because that's genuinely one that I don't think I would be able to sit through and do, because the books are also very long. That's not short books that you can read quickly. And by the way, the books that I don't mention that are in the categories, I don't mention them because I just don't know them. I either haven't heard of them or I just don't know anything about them. Best Young Adult Fantasy and Science Fiction. That's one category. In that, we have The Stolen Heir. We've talked about that. And we have Powerless, which I mentioned. Honestly, if I look at all of these nominees, I think it's hard to say which one is gonna win. Because we also have Divine Rivals, which was really hyped, and that's been out for a little bit longer than, for example, Powerless. We have Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare, which I would just say that maybe that's gonna win because it's a Cassandra Clare book. But then we also have A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber, which is the last book, right, in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. The second one is something called With a Ballad, or what the fuck is it called? I don't know. And then also just released very recently at the end of October, or in the middle of October. People love that shit. So I would say that it's probably between Cassandra Clare, Holly Black, and Stephanie Garber. I don't think, even though a lot of people read Powerless, a lot of people read Divine Rivals, there's also these Infinite Threats in here. We've talked about that. I don't want to talk about it. We also have Foul Heart Huntsman by Chloe Gong with the ugly fucking cover. Every time I talk about Chloe Gong books, I just have to say the fact that I think her covers are fugly. And that's all the nominees. We also have A Study in Drowning and What the River Knows. And I've heard about both of those books. Oh, and Foxglove. I don't know what that is, but I don't know anything about those 2 books. And I also don't think that many people talk about it. This page said that there's 15 categories, but these are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So where's the rest, bitch? I don't think any other category would concern me, but I would just want to know. Anyway, guys, that's all of the books that we are interested in on this. Are you surprised by any book on this list? Honestly, I don't think that any of these nominees come as a surprise. Maybe these Infinite Threads, but then again, you have to think about the fact that it's only the span of a year and maybe it just wasn't a good year for young adult fantasy. And it apparently also wasn't a good year for romantasy if you have multiple books, because the Jennifer L. Armentrout books are also part of a series. If you have multiple books that are from a series nominated. I think definitely Fourth Wing is going to win that one. And then Best Fantasy, I didn't even say what I think is going to win. Honestly, I don't know either. Probably Cassandra Clare. Do people actually care about what books are nominated and like pick their books that they read depending on if they've been Goodreads nominated or won? I don't think so. I actually don't think anybody cares about that. And if I were an author, would I care about my book being nominated? No. I know that a lot of people are not happy with Goodreads as a platform anyway. I also think, for me, it's always like lagging and shit. I can't really navigate it smoothly. I don't know what that issue is, what the issue with the client is, but I don't fuck with Goodreads that much either. I just post the updates for you guys so you know what's going on. Not that anything comes as a surprise anymore. Maybe we should boycott Goodreads. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this silly little video. It was very silly and it was very little. Let me know about all of the questions that I asked in this video. I don't even remember. Bookmas is halfway over and there's still 6 more videos to come. Wish me luck. I'm stressed. You'll see more why in the vlog that I'm posting, because that's a good way for me to update you guys on like how Bookmas is going behind the scenes and everything. I love you guys so much. Let me know if you voted in the Goodreads Choice Awards. That's a good question. I don't think I asked that one yet. Answered that one too. I should make like a list at the end of my videos, like how many questions I asked. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you stay happy and you stay healthy. Peace and love. And I'll hopefully see you tomorrow. Bye bye.